Yeah.
And it's kind of general because Lloris as well and Romero, players who played in the World Cup final and had that emotional impact on them, and so soon, and being forced into the demands of the Premier League season. Will you have to sort of nurse him back from that blow that he's had? Do you think there'll be any impact on his form? Because normally a player loses a World Cup final or plays in the World Cup final, they have a 3-week holiday, then come back into a pre-season, and it's a bit easier to get back. Do you have anything?
Yeah, it's new for all of us. So, but I know Ibu for a while now, and it's like we had a brief look at him and stuff. I spoke to him, and he looks completely fine with everything. So Ibu is a very young fella. He understood the situation in the right way. He knows that the future is bright for this French team, so it didn't feel for them. I think for a second leg was the last chance or whatever. They're all desperate to get back with this group to play again, whichever tournament, the Euros next in 1.5 next year in Germany. And so physically, he played a couple of games, but was now not the most intense. He had played the final few minutes, had then a week off, or 8 days off. Found in smoothly with training, stuff like that. So we did everything. So let me say around about 2 weeks after finally was first time kind of in contention. Is that perfect? Of course not. So nothing is perfect in these moments. I don't know how long we should give people to deal with such a burst of such a big dream. I don't know. But he is, I think, completely fine. And now he plays a game. First game with a lot of good moments, obviously a difficult game for defenders. The way Brentford played, yes, he was not on absolutely top of his game. We all know how good he can be. The own goal was massively unlucky. It was just the unlucky one when nobody hit the ball, and he was the one who hit it at least, but in the wrong direction. And the second goal is, for me, still it's a foul, but we will not change that anymore. So that's the situation. He's a young player. He can anyway improve. He's full of desire for football, so he didn't look for a second that it's a bit too much for him in the moment, and that's why, I think we dealt good with the situation, but I don't know if it was perfect because we had we have no experience with that, playing football a week after World Cup and introducing players pretty quickly. So we don't know. None of us knows. So we try our best.
Joshi.
Jürgen, is Alisson or Creed the FA Cup goalkeeper?
Was always Alisson. Well, last year we played. Forgot the exact reason. We've played one game. I think Ali came only back the day before the game. Is that possible? So, but it's clear we have Queef, but no, it's Alisson.
Andy?
Jürgen, do you think there's maybe a bit of an inevitability about the injury that Virgil has picked up after the World Cup, and is it something that you have to take into consideration for players who are playing in Europe and the World Cup for their training programmes for maybe the second half of the season, something that you've already factored in?
No, but that's what we did all the time, to be honest. And of course, we know that. So there are a few all-time players. So players who play for the team all the time, for your club all the time, for the national team pretty much all the time, and in Europe. The exact same amount of games, I think, in the Premier League, maybe Harry Kane has. I don't know exactly, but maybe he has. He plays all the games, and others don't play always 90 minutes for the national team, or don't play for the club always 90 minutes, these kind of things. So that's really the highest level of intensity, if you want. Yes, and of course, if you ask me now, would have been a good idea to leave Virgil van Dijk out? Yes. Did anybody think about leaving him out? No. Him included, was no reason for it. So it was not that we thought that's a bit too much, because just you only deal with the things you know about the player knows how he feels, gets the treatment he gets, and then after that, and my relationship with Virgil is very close. If he would have felt a little bit, he would have told me, and would have said, not for me this weekend or this Monday. So that's what we deal all the time with. That's what I'm talking about all the time when I say we have to reduce games, FA Cup or whatever, these kind of things. It's just because the best players play all the time. That's how it is. And then people tell us, yeah, we leave them out or do that, rotate. Funny enough, who leaves the best players out? These kind of things. So it's not that easy. So we have to sort that in the future with bigger squads, I think, and even more level squads like internally and these kind of things. But if that's possible, I don't know. But it's probably the only way to deal with it, and for internationally and so like for the national teams and for the club teams, we will see how that will work out. But it's something we have to develop, the direction we have to develop, and if nobody reduce the games. So yes, we think about how to deal with it, but honestly. And you know that the intense part of the last week were the games. And of course there was treatment. And so when did we play? It was Leicester, and then when 30th and 2nd. So 31st, recovery, first, second day recovery and a little bit tactical stuff, and second playing. So the intense part is the game, and we cannot change the game. So it's nothing what we ask for or whatever. A centre half plays the game with centre half. Yeah, but anyway, it's we always, especially with the amount of injuries you can imagine we always are very, very try to figure out exactly why things happen. And if we ever made a mistake, we will not make it a second time. At least that's what I can promise. But unfortunately, there were not even a lot of mistakes. It just things happened, how they happened, and we have to accept it and deal with it.